Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 21st of February. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
Well, Gary, we passed the most important test of the year with flying colours. So here's a shout out to all of our successful vendors that sold across the weekend and our beautiful selling team on bringing the incredible first auction weekend home with an 88% clearance, Gary, against the industry average in Victoria of 63%. And we sold 18 out of 21 auctions. And I don't mind saying I was quietly terrified before the weekend.
You know, I wasn't worried at all about it. I wasn't worried. Not that I'm Mr. Cool, because I reckon I'm probably more prone to panic than you are, or more prone to showing panic than you are. It was 86% close, well, quite 88. I think it's 86%. And yes, REA did say 63% clearance. I think Domain
was 63?
63 and 69 between the two of them. Even if you took the middle of that, you said sort of 66%. Very happy with 86%. So well done. Well done to our team. Congratulations to our vendors. And surprisingly, some incredibly strong results. Now, got to say, Phil, that I spoke to and visited recently possibly one of the most influential car dealers or owner of car dealerships in Melbourne.
Whose name will be published or remain silent?
Whose name, Mark Sawicki, I won't mention here, but he was telling me...
Shout out to Mark Sawicki, who is not only one of the greatest car dealers on the planet, but a seriously good guy.
He is a good guy. Now, Mark said to me, look, I'm telling you, Gary, and he calls it as it is. He says, I'm telling you that if the car business relates to the real estate business, and I think it does, he said, you're going to have a really good start to the year because cars are flying. I know cars don't fly, but he said they're just speeding out the door at a great rate. So, that was kind of good. Then I spoke to an accountant because, I've got some smart friends too. They're not all just, the idiots that I hang out with, but I spoke to an accountant.
And ain't that the truth?
That is the truth. And the accountant said to me, look, I think we're at the top of the interest rate cycle. People want to get on with their life. And we had a chat on Sunday night, and you said, and I think you were right, and I'd like to disagree with you, but this time I have to agree, people want to get on with their lives, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they're doing. They're getting on with their lives. And I've got to tell you, the message of the week for buyers is scarcity is scary, because I reckon the scarcity, Phil, is one of the things that is actually quite scary for buyers.
Scarcity is scary,
Scarcity is scary,
You're
Phil.
scared of scarcity.
Well, I think buyers should be scared of scarcity, Phil. And that's the message I'm beginning, because there's not much around. A lot of vendors still are saying, I'll wait till the prices come back. They're not going to accept these lower prices because they are lower than they were. But they're getting up to where they were, Phil.
Gary,
they're getting back up there.
An 86% clearance rate. I mean, let's be very clear.
Okay,
that is the sign of a boom market, 86%, or just the sign of an agency that really knows what to do, which I would lean towards that one rather than the boom. But I do want to say this, Gary, because we've got to keep this particular episode in check. And for the very simple reason that Philip Lowe, the Governor of the Reserve Bank...
he's been under a bit of attack, hasn't he?
Well, Gary, he does watch this show.
Oh, he loves it.
And the trouble is, if we talk the market up, he may well be sitting there going, look, I saw it on GPTV that the market's still flying, so I'm going to put interest rates up yet again.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time he's done that, because as a watcher of this show, would
Correct.
it? Correct.
So, Philip Lowe, I do need you to understand this.
From Philip to Philip.
From
Philip
to Philip. From one pale Philip to another pale Philip.
Yeah. And one senior Philip to another senior Philip.
Seeing him get pounded in the Senate hearing, I've got to tell you, he's a pretty cool customer. He was just completely...
there's a few beads of sweat there.
Completely unfazed. But ultimately, Gary, what the general public forget.
Yes.
And, you've got to remember that the media has got a vested interest in beating stories up.
You won't hear how good the market was on the weekend. I don't think you'll hear that.
Correct. Because the media needs to beat up any story in order. It's kind of clickbait.
Bad news sells, Phil.
Well,
bad news. People love bad news.
Correct.
It's called Schadenfreude. You know what Schadenfreude is? It's rejoicing and enjoying the misery of others, and that sells papers, Philip, all around the world. And of course, gets ratings and sponsors.
We don't talk about selling papers anymore because very few people get papers.
I get the paper
online. No, I appreciate.
But they don't
that.
make the truth anymore, unfortunately.
Gary,
or the Sporting Globe.
Where I'm coming from here is that the media loves to beat up the storm about the poor first home buyer.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I have all sympathy for first home buyers.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of people, particularly in the markets that we work in, that either have no mortgage or a small mortgage. And if you have a small mortgage and you're looking to upsize or downsize, ultimately the interest rate environment is not as critical to you as it is if you're a first home buyer. So viewers, I just want to put this in perspective. We had some second homes or third home buyers on the weekend where we sold prices that I think were as good as in the middle of any boom.
Yeah, I think so
because
too.
people are wanting to get on with their life, and if their mortgage is under control or they've got an income that allows the flexibility, they're just buying.
Got to say though, Phil, I do feel for people that, you know, they took the advice of the Reserve Bank, they went and bought a property, they budgeted on, you know, say 3%, you know, and this is the interest rate and that can work, and all of a sudden it doubled. Or I feel for those people because
I agree.
you know,
I agree.
That
And if
hurts.
there's one thing that Philip Lowe should take a pounding for is kind of giving people the concrete thought that it's not going to change much. Now, he would say, well, hang on a second, I'm not a magician. We did go through COVID. We've got this huge inflation problem.
Back up the truck. Back
So
up the track. He was also saying, you know, I've been told that on my doorstep there's going to be thousands of people dying. There's going to be this terrible, you know, hospitals and an overrun of our health system, and the COVID predictions that he was given, the alarming COVID, you know, predictions, also put him in a position where he thought, well, if that happens, there won't be any interest rate, and that's what people were talking about.
So is this a shout out of support to Philip Lowe, or is it?
It's a shout out of understanding, Phil.
Okay.
Understanding, but still, for those people that are paying double, they don't like you at the moment.
What I do want to say though, Gary, to those that watch this show, if you're thinking of selling and your property is in that zone of, I reckon, that $1.5 to $3 million bracket, where we sold a number of properties across the weekend that were highly sought after. And even some of our lower value properties. I mean, we sold a property on North Road, a beautiful little renovated semi, good activity there as well. So all of the auctions I did across the weekend, there was activity everywhere.
Well, I've got to say, I'm a bit concerned about you as an auctioneer. Because you've had a shameful moment. It's not the one you think I'm going to talk about, but you've had a shameful moment because what's the world come to when an auctioneer takes a $10 bid? Can you just tell me that? Because what sort of two-bit bum loser auctioneer are you that takes a $10 bid? Now, I know that $10 bid rounded it up to it was in Gardenvale Road. We won't say the figure, it's undisclosed, but it rounded it up to a very, very even number. So I guess there was a reason for you to do it. But what's going on with that? I mean, where's your spine?
Do you know what, Gary? So yes, it's the first time in my career that I've taken a $10 bid, Gary. May well be the last time. But I think if you were at the auction at number 50 Gardenvale Road, and shout out to the buyers, shout out to the sellers, beautiful house. It really did just round things out nicely and was gratefully received by our salespeople who had to do the documentation, Gary, and working out 10% of the other number would have been somewhat challenging.
Well, beyond my badgering and insults, which I really do enjoy and pretty much live for, I've got to say that strategically there was a bidder that was going a long way. One was bidding like $250, the next person was jumping at like $5,000 and $10,000. So you did get, and this is what the skill of a good auctioneer is, and I have to say it, I have to actually admit it, that what happened was there was some small bids from one bidder, but big bids from the other. And I think the skill of a good auctioneer is to be able to get those big increments still going consistently.
Yes, Gary, I do not mind saying I did a somewhat superb job.
And it sold for
many,
many hundreds of thousands of dollars above reserve. So well done to the vendor there and to the buyer, who has a good story about that house, because the buyer has a long history with that particular home. So congratulations to both of them. Go on.
Yes, I was just going to say, Gary, we sold a number of properties between $2 and $3 million.
That was simply a hot spot.
And there were 3 houses that sold within that $2 to $3 million range.
We can talk about a couple of them,
and
Phil.
all 3 were highly competitive, and all 3 sold for well in excess of the reserve.
17 Latrobe Street.
If you're watching this, looking for a glimmer of hope, I can tell you this very clearly.
More than a glimmer.
It was game on the weekend.
The sun's shining brightly, Phil. This is not a glimmer of hope. This is not a little bit of light through a cloud. This is a full, clear sky here. 17 Latrobe Street, Phil. That's disclosed. We're expecting sort of 1.8 to 1.950 on that. I went to that auction. And the reserve was at the top of the range. I think the vendor would have probably taken a bit less, but
so Gary, 1.950 would have bought that house very easily,
gladly,
and the vendors would have been more than satisfied.
$2,205,000, many bids later, Philip.
So significantly over the reserve. Having said that, competitive bidding from families that just want to get on with their life.
Then we go to 38 Neerim Road, Phil. We moved on. The show moved on to there very soon after. That sold for $2,180,500.
Interesting, Gary.
Great looking house.
Interesting because a lot of buyers say, well, how come it's not on the market in certain price points, right?
Sometimes I'll answer, yeah.
And Neeram Road's a really interesting case because their reserve would have been significantly less,
Yep.
but they came to our auction in Latrobe
can
Street.
happen, yeah.
So keeping in mind, Latrobe Street had a reserve in the high ones, but sold for $2,205,000. Our vendor from Neeram Road came to that and said, hey, I've got a property on a corner block of land
Not
in a
too
similar
dissimilar, yeah.
location. Actually, my land is bigger, my house is similar. I was going to have this as a reserve, but I've just seen that house sell for significantly more.
Yep.
So I want significantly more, which is their right to
fair
do,
enough.
which is entirely their right
That's
to do.
the fluidity of the market,
So the
Philip.
markets are fluid, Gary.
The laissez-faire economy
Correct.
of auctions.
Just like a vendor that might see on the same weekend two or three properties similar sell at a lesser
Less,
price,
yep.
they may well say, well, I've got to meet the market. I'm going to reduce my reserve price. So
I hear you, Phil.
Viewers, we do what we can, but the market is fluid and things change on a daily basis.
There was a report about a sale in Richmond that went for $1 million over the reserve. And it went nuts. There's another one in Baldwin somewhere. So there have been some very strong. Now, of course, we'll come every time things sell for more than expected and the market bounces ahead of expectation. The attack of underquoting is, you can be sure that'll be everywhere now. But the reality is that when agents quote, you have to quote on the precedence of recent sales, and the recent sales were really in December, November.
Or a recent sale may have happened 2 hours ago.
Well, they can too, Phil. I mean, look what happened in Stone Street. I auctioned Stone Street, 2 at 8 Stone Street.
Fascinating case in point.
So I'll take full ownership of this, the quote and everything around this, Phil, because we sold number 1 at 8 Stone Street last year. It was sold for just over 800, like 803,000.
Now that was a 2-bedroom, one bathroom, single
single level, yeah. Right? Now the one behind it's come up, which has got an extra bedroom and an extra bathroom.
3-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Yep. So I thought maybe that's a couple $100,000 more.
Okay.
$100,000 or $200,000 more. Fair enough. Fair and reasonable assumption. So we priced it there. The vendor was a seller there. In fact, the reserve on that one was $950,000. Phil, lo and behold, that one is sold for $1,160,000 with 5 bidders fighting it out.
So that's $210,000 over the reserve, which is almost 20. Well, it's more than 20% over the top of the reserve.
Yep.
And yet there is real-time evidence that the market is prepared to pay what the market's prepared to pay. And sometimes we get it wrong. More often than not, when we get it wrong, Gary, it's selling on the higher side.
It is a vendor in the vendor's favour, but so was the case there. 4 at 23 Lansdowne Road sold for $574, just a bit over the range. So if you want to know what's happening with apartments, that was the sale that happened there. So a vibrant, active, exciting, pumping weekend. Scarce stock. We haven't really seen the prestige end of the market yet. I mean, Gardenvale Road was pretty much part of the prestige.
Well, that's prestige for South Caulfield.
Yeah, no question. We haven't really seen the big, juicy sort of Caulfield North,
the
Gold Mile sales.
$6 and $7 million.
But they'll be rolling
things.
out soon. The numbers of people coming through are pretty good from what I understand. So stay tuned for that one. But congratulations to all of our sellers and buyers for the weekend. Well done to our agents who worked in those hot conditions, sweating away, getting great outcomes for our clients. Now, we've got a busy weekend coming up this weekend. Shall we and can we review them?
Let's have a look at what we've got, Gary.
Phil, we've got 25 auctions coming up. We're not waiting for the weekend. No, we're going to get rolling on Wednesday and Thursday. We've got plenty happening.
We love these midweek auctions, Gary.
We love them, and we love them happening in all sorts of areas across the southeast and Bayside suburbs, Phil. We've got 7 different suburbs that we're covering on Saturday. We've got 3 different suburbs during the week. We're going to be in Auckland, Phil, on Wednesday. Now, that's not Auckland, the city. That is the street. Auckland Street, Bentley. You have the auction honours of this fine-looking property.
Gary, what a magnificent home. 4 or 5 bedrooms, 2.5 gleaming bathrooms, double lock-up garage, not a cent to spend, a fabulous, timeless facade. This is great real estate.
Double auction action on Thursday. Philip, you're going to be busy at 6:30. I've got one before that at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be in Newman Avenue, Carnegie. Hello, Newman.
Well, Gary, an old Seinfeld classic, the name Newman. This is a home number 3 at 3 Newman Avenue, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a double lock-up garage, really good property, its own courtyard garden.
6:30, Philip, you are going to be doing also on Thursday an auction. That is 4 at 16 Nathan Grove. Love this complex, love the look of this property.
Gary, and I love Nathan Grove. This is a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom family home. Plenty of off-street car parking there, Gary, and beautiful wraparound garden areas. A really, really good property. Double lock-up garage as well.
One of Caulfield South's hidden gems. Phil, Nathan Grove is. Phil, we've got a very busy weekend. On Saturday, we've got 7 different suburbs, we've got 10 auctions. I'm going to be heading off quite early in the morning. I won't see you until a bit later on, but I've got a 10 a.m. auction in Ratcliffe Avenue,
you'll
Cheltenham.
just be coming home, no doubt, at that time. So
Possibly.
stop home, have a shower, put on a fresh change of clothes. That's a really good villa, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a car park there, a carport, garden areas, immaculate property.
That will kick me off on Saturday, Phil. We've got a bit of a later start for me. You can have a little sleep in if you want. So I've spotted breakfast, a late breakfast, which I know you love, a big breakfast, a good breakfast. But Phil, we've got 4 auctions at 11:30. Your first is in Malvern, around the corner from your joint, 5 Cummins Grove.
Gary, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, fully renovated throughout, gorgeous back garden area. Cummins Grove is a no-through road, and you've got the tram and Wattletree Road on your doorstep.
Leo Samuel opens his account at 11:30 a.m. in Rosstown Road, Carnegie.
Well, this is a lucky number, Gary. This is apartment 8 at number 8 Rosstown Road in Carnegie. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, a really good property and walking distance to the fabulous Kunang Road.
Westbury Street, Phil, has long been a favourite street of ours. I used to work at the milk bar on the corner of Westbury and Alma Road. It was called the Westbury Walkabout in those days, Phil. For $1 an hour, stacking crates, sweeping and mopping floors.
And goodness knows, Gary, you were incredibly overpaid.
I was overpaid, but I was good at it, Phil.
Overpaid for the quality of work that you produced.
I was good at mopping.
That's got nothing to do with this beautiful home in Westbury Street, Gary, which we love Westbury Street as an address. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Check out the gorgeous features, the polished timber floorboards, the high ceilings, all of the period details. Magnificent.
That is a great looking property. I'm very excited to auction that, and has been quite popular, as I understand. So it should have been, as has been. 2 at Mile End, number 2, Mile End Road, Carnegie, which Graham Callan's going to be auctioning.
Lovely parcel of land, Gary, with a beautiful home on it, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, wonderful opportunity, and of course, Carnegie, one of Melbourne's best suburbs.
We have reserved for you wholly and solely the 12:30 time slot to be in Caulfield South, 1 at 79 Clarence Street, Caulfield South.
Gary, this is a really good home, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, undercover parking for 2 cars and maybe another car or 2 even in front of their small cars. But this is great, and I went through there on the weekend. The vendors have presented that home so well, so shout out to them for their fastidious attention to detail.
Starting at 1:30, Phil, we're going to be at 5 at 47 Murrumbeena Road. Murrumbeena is part of the double, and this time with this particular property, Leo Samuel meets Jack Slater there.
Everything to love there, Gary. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, a storage cage, a good looking building and a great location.
Real estate icon and legend David Thompson is back. He's had a bit of a knee construction, Philip. He's had a big job done on his knee.
Well,
but
you know, he's a sporting man, Gary, so sooner or later you will wear out your knees. So hopefully he's going to be like the bionic man.
He will be. He'll be the bionic auctioneer at 2:30, Philip, auctioning 17 at 5, Murrumbeena Road in Murrumbeena.
2 beautiful bedrooms, 2 gleaming bathrooms, a car space, Gary, and the most incredible deck area. So we call it a balcony, but I call it a palatial outdoor entertainment zone.
Jeremy Rosens brings home the afternoon auctions, Philip, at 2:30. He's going to be at 4 at 40 the Avenue in Balaclava.
Well, Gary, if you're a book lover there, you've got this incredible kitchen meals family living area now with the most beautiful bookcases. I love that photo of that entertaining area. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, and of course that location, walking distance to the best of the area's attractions.
At 3:30 p.m, Philip, we're going to be in a great street in Skilder East that we love and have sold many times within this street. That is Wilgar Street.
And we say lucky number 8 yet again. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, off-street car parking, Gary. Picture perfect postcard facade.
You have got a very grueling schedule on Sunday. I know it's not grueling because you love it, but you've got a full and busy schedule on Sunday. We've got a big day of real estate sales. Philip, I'm going to kick off on Sunday morning at 10:30, as are you, but I'm going to be in Service Street, one of my favourite streets, Parkside in Caulfield North.
Great, what a great property that is, Gary. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, lock-up garage. Service Street is really just the most premier address. Tram on your doorstep, Caulfield Park on your doorstep.
And we have many times sold in this street, Philip, a fine address, a great location, 6 at 20 Hewenden Road, St Kilda East.
This is an extra large apartment, Gary. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. It does have a kitchen with a meals area, a dining room and a separate living room. So you could even think about turning that dining room, subject to council approval, into a 3rd bedroom if that is what you're requiring.
Or just do it very, very quietly and sneakily.
Well, obviously we can't recommend any illegal activity, Gary.
We never said that, Philip. At 11:30 a.m. there is double auction action, Philip, at 59 Bundeera Road. This has been well received. It's a beautiful home, and it kind of feels a bit like the sale that we just had in Gardenvale Road.
Gary, this is a beautiful home. 4 incredible bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage, north-facing allotment of land, swimming pool. This is really the complete family package. The current owners have lived there. They, in fact, built the house, Gary. They've loved every moment of it, but as the family has contracted and the children have moved out, they're now moving on to their next chapter, which gives this lucky family, whoever it happens to be, the opportunity to buy one of the best family homes.
In one of the best streets in Caulfield South, Phil. Absolutely love Bundeera Road. This beautiful looking picture postcard facade, Philip, is the frontage of number 3 Horsley Avenue in the heart of Balaclava. Jeremy Rosens has the auction privilege here.
You know, when you live in Horsley, you've got the train station literally minutes from you. You've got the incredible Carlisle Street on your doorstep, but you go home to this peace and serenity of Horsley. Yep. This is 3 bedrooms, the most fantastic back garden area. It's a terrific property, but I just love that street.
As do I, Philip. We've got 4 auctions on at 12:30 on Sunday. We're going to kick off. I'm going to be meeting young Daniel Peer at 4 at 194 Alma Road, a good-looking apartment here.
Gary, great apartment, good opportunity, first home buyers, investors, people scaling down perhaps, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, really good floor plan.
Great Scott, that's a good-looking property, Philip, and happens to be in Scott Street in Caulfield South. Leo Samuel is the auctioneer.
Number 5A, you can use this as 3 or 4 bedrooms, 3 beautiful bathrooms, lock-up garage. That's everything that you love in this style of architecture.
Matt Morley himself, an auctioneer, is giving the reins over for this auction to Jeremy Rosens, and that's at number 3 Gourlay Street, Balaclava. Well-positioned home.
Gary, doesn't get any better than that, and we love that location. There you get a fantastic home, you get land. What a great opportunity.
311 Orong Road, Philip, is a great address. I know that Nikki Jano has been very excited about that. 4 bedroom, 2 bathrooms and 2 parking spaces.
Well, Gary, think about where that's located. You've got the Alma Village on your doorstep. There you get a great house, you get all of the period features, and you get land.
Tell us about 11 Corinna Crescent, Philip, one of the milestone auctions of this year, happening at 1:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Gary, I love this home, and a shout out to the vendors and shout out to Rena Cohen Interiors.
Oh, yeah.
They went through this house. I mean, we sold it to them a few years ago. Yep. They did a full renovation of what was already a great home, but they've turned this into a showpiece, standout home. I love everything they've done there, and it's now better than a brand new home.
Phil, at 2:30, we're going to be selling a property that you've had some involvement with, an apartment in Oak Grove, Ripponlea, 5 at 15. Oak Grove, Ripponlea. Tell us about this apartment.
What a great location. This is on the first floor, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kitchen with a meals area, entrance hall, been renovated throughout, not a cent to spend. And of course, you know, whether you live there or lease it, you couldn't get a better location.
Cardigan Street, another well-located property, Philip. Great street, good spot, right near Hotham Street there. This is 102 at 12 Cardigan Street. Jeremy Rosens auctions this one. Maureen Mazarow is the handling agent. Yes, Philip, this is a wonderful property, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. There's parking space there and quite affordable in that high 5s to kind of mid-6s range. Looking forward to seeing the result of this one. Jeremy Rosens is the auctioneer, and we finish off at 3:30 p.m. You are going to be auctioning 2 at 54 Eskdale Road in Caulfield North. This terrific 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2 parking space property. Tell us a little about it,
Well,
Phil.
Gary, Eskdale Road is one of the great addresses because you've got Hawthorne Road at one end, and then you've got the Caulfield Racecourse and the new shopping centre there at the other end. You've got the tram in Hawthorne Road, Glen Huntley Road. I just love that location.
So we've got some of our prestige properties starting this weekend or auctioning this weekend, which will be interesting to see. But we've got another one, Philip. Quite a showpiece of a property. This is a magnificent home and a really trophy property, and this happens to be, Philip, in one of the best addresses in Caulfield North. Phil, we're talking about Waiora Road, one of the best streets in FNC, Philip, in the Golden Mile.
North Caulfield. Number 3 Waiora Road, Gary, which has a 2-street frontage. Obviously, the entrance for your guests are going to come in from Waiora Road, but you can bring your car either from Waiora or the 2 second street frontage, which is in Wilkes street. This is a great opportunity because it's a magnificent home. It's also got a house together with in-laws accommodation, or it could be an
Teenage
office
or-
subject to council approval, teenagers retreat, where its entrance comes in from Waiora Road. But it sits on 1,046 square
Wow.
metres of the best land. So will this home be bought by somebody that moves in and enjoys the wonderful improvements, or will there be a developer that says, hey, looking forward to doing something new
Special,
on
yeah.
this? Either way, Waiora Road is the most incredible street.
That is a big wrap on this very busy Tuesday in February, Philip, where things are really starting to happen. We're getting a good vibe out in the market. Buyers say, that's enough. I'm sick of looking and mucking around and waiting. I'm going to launch in. Vendors are prepared to meet the market. So things are happening, particularly here at Gary Pearett Associates. And we'll continue to bring you the real estate news on GPTV. We'll see you next week. I'm Gary Pearett.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fabulous week and thanks for watching.